Hi, I'm Alana of Artful Teaching, Joyful Learning, and I help educators like you teach with confidence, ease, and a splash of creativity so that their kids fall in love with learning. Now today, I want to introduce you to the Reggio-Inspired Atelier and how we can bring that kind of a space home to encourage creative self-expression in our kids. I'm expanding the idea of the atelier to also include a writing center so that we can encourage our kids to use playful writing as a form of self-expression as well. Be sure to download your PDF checklist full of unexpected materials to create your very own mini atelier at home. Now, what exactly is the atelier? In Reggio Emilia, Italy, the atelier is an extension of the classroom, a space dedicated to creating and expressing oneself through the language of art. The atelier has a dedicated teacher, also known as the atelierista, whose sole role is to guide and provoke children into deep thinking and creative expression through a variety of art media. Now, although no photographs are permitted inside the schools of Reggio Emilia, the atelier might look something like this. You can see a variety of art media accessible to the children at their eye level. We have clay and wire and yarn and paint, and everything is beautifully and thoughtfully presented. Basically, any tool that allows for your child's self-expression. Now, today I want to share with you elements of the atelier as well as a writing center to encourage your child's expression through their 100 languages. Why is this important and why should we care? Now, long before our children can tell or write elaborate stories, they play and they create. They muck about, they experiment and test out theories. They begin to create imaginative scenarios as they reenact stories of real life. Our kids are wired to make sense of their world through the processes of play and art making. And part of our job is to set up an environment that really facilitates that kind of rich meaning making. Now, I consider play and art to be our children's first languages. And it's critical to develop fluency in these languages before we can ever expect our children to read and write. After all, the processes of reading and writing are about meaning making. And if we want our kids to make meaning, we need to give them lots and lots of authentic opportunities to practice. Giving our kids many opportunities to show what they know through their 100 languages is really what this video is all about. Now let's talk about creating a dedicated space for artful exploration and expression. When we create a special space or a nook or a zone dedicated to our children's art making, we send the message that art is valued and that they are encouraged to express themselves. When lovely materials are offered to our children in a way that excites them about creating, they are motivated to create and share. Now tell me, what is more motivating to you? Materials stuffed inside an old coffee can, or these glass jars that bring the color and texture into our environment and allow our kids to make those important creative decisions. Now, our storage and organization doesn't have to be expensive or fancy, but it should be organized and inviting. Labels send a message to our kids that everything has a place and everything has a home. Now, what tools might we offer our children? Now, a plastic tray is an excellent idea for those of us that are a little more mess averse. A plastic tray really defines your child's space and keeps everything kind of in one spot. It's also helpful if your child is creating wet art or sculptures with clay that need to be dried, and you can easily move it from place to place in your home. Other tools I love to include are these watercolor pod style paints. They add such bright, vibrant colors to your child's work, and they're easy to work with, easy to use, wet on wet, wet on dry. Oil pastels, chalk pastels, markers, crayons, pencil crayons, any drawing tools to help your child's work come to life. Clay is also another great tool to have in your mini atelier. This clay is available at the dollar store and it's air dry clay, but has very much the properties of artist clay, potter's clay. I also love to include loose parts in my atelier. So loose parts are those pieces and parts that can be repurposed and reimagined in many, many different ways. I have here pictured some crafty loose parts that are available at the dollar store, including pom-poms and feathers and wooden beads and buttons. And when these are displayed in glass jars, your child can make some really important and creative decisions about what they're going to use and how they're going to use them. Whether it's for assemblage or building, it gives your child a number of different ways to express themselves. Loose parts are also available in nature. You can invite your child to collect twigs and pine cones and beach pebbles to include in your loose parts collection as well. Having a variety of paper available to your child, cut in many different sizes, including colored construction and cardstock, as well as an abundance of white paper. And again, cut down in different sizes to really help your child be thoughtful about the amount of paper that they're using. Having a recycle bin close by is also incredibly helpful for all those loose pieces of paper and scraps of paper. And finally, scissors and glue, including white glue or glue sticks. Now, when we talk about the writing center, these are the tools that are really above and beyond what we would traditionally offer our children to write. So these include things like fancy pens, gel pens, note cards and post-it notes, and then also stickers and stamps. These are the kind of fun tools that are really inviting our children to write with playful purpose. So you can imagine your child creating menus or party invitations. All of these things, when these supplies are available to our children, they really invite our kids to experiment and explore and write with purpose. Now, when it comes to storing our media, what are the best ways to keep things organized and streamlined? I love to use glass jars. I think that glass sends a strong message to our children about responsibility and ownership and taking care of their things. But glass isn't for everyone. I also really love to use wicker baskets with labels, and these help to keep everything in one place. Another popular storage system is the Ikea Gruntal, which offers these metal canisters to store everything, and again, labeled for ease of finding things and putting things away. I hope you've enjoyed today's session, and if you're interested in artful and engaging ways to teach your child to read and write, I have a workshop coming up just for you. It's a live literacy workshop on Wednesday, April 14th. I'll be sharing all kinds of unique and research-based strategies and tools, done for you swipe files that you can use right away in your practice with your children. I hope you'll join me.